I wouldn't be surprised to see him take again here 3-1. He loves hitting with 2 strikes.
The 3-1, and this ball hit out towards left center. Green on the move, and Rodney Green Jr. tracks it down. So Eddie Park, who's hitting over 400 in Pac-12 play, is out number 1.
First look at Rodney Green playing center field. One of the better athletes you'll see in Pac-12 baseball. Guy can really go get it in center field. He's fun to watch play defense.
He didn't have a hit and still affected the game both defensively and on the bases as he can do. He has been just so difficult. Here's Carter Graham, led Stanford last year with 22 homers, was well off that pace, but he's starting to get things going now a little bit. He's homered in each of the last 2 games, homered Sunday at Oklahoma and then homered here last night. A double, and he had a line out last night, a line drive that he hit right back to the pitcher that was caught. Becerra with the 0-2. Called strike 3. Graham didn't like it, and it's Becerra's first strikeout of the game.
Good look at his 2-strike slider by Becerra. Locks up Carter Graham. Perfect location, down and away. Carter Graham lays off. It might have been off the plate, but umpire gives him a call for the second out.
Becerra now pitches to Tommy Troy. So he fell behind Eddie Park to start this game 3-0, and now he jumps ahead of Carter Graham and now Tommy Troy. His average went up last night to .417, second best in the pack. That's behind the bag over at third. And the count 0-2. .417 average, second best in Pac-12 play. 2 for 4 last night with a walk and a couple of strikeouts. Faced Becerra once this year, struck out against him back on February 21st. The Cal Stanford series this weekend is of course, a league series, but the game back in February and one game they'll play again later this year at Sunken Diamond, non-league games. Becerra pitched in that game in an 8-4 Cal win. This ball struck well out towards right center field, falling quickly. That's going to get down in front of Cade Kretschmar, and it's a 2-out hit for Tommy Troy.
Good piece of hitting, laid off the 0-2 slider in the dirt. Gets one that stays in the zone this time, and he's able to flip it out to right field for a 2-strike base hit. Good piece of hitting, and then average continues to rise for Tommy Troy.
Just incredible. And now that'll mean we get a look at Braden Montgomery, the switch hitter, batting left-handed, the right fielder for Stanford. He takes a big cut, and it's a big league pop-up down the left field line. Soto, the third baseman, is able to make the play. That was tough.
Long way to go, and he made the catch. I didn't think he was going to get there. A lot of foul ground here in Cal, but Soto ranges to the right, ends the inning.
So Troy stranded. We go to the bottom of the first. On to the bottom of the first inning here in Berkeley, and Cal coming up, a Cal team that scored 7 runs against Stanford pitching last night. We'll take a look at the Cal Bears lineup presented by Graduate Hotels. Rodney Green Jr., just like last night, in the leadoff spot again as Mike New tries to jumpstart him a little bit. Soto bats second. He moved Green and Loma Vita around, and last night it worked for Loma Vita. He was fantastic. Schultz, Kretschmar, Handren, Crawford, Button, and Johnston, the left fielder. So same lineup for the Bears as game 1. And there's Rodney Green Jr., as I said, trying to get things going a little bit. 0 for 5, 4 strikeouts last night for him. And he's going to face Matt Scott. This is a big-time prospect, the Connecticut State Player of the Year last year, and the young man's been fantastic at his freshman campaign for Stanford.
Fit right into this Stanford rotation, and if you're a pitcher and you can pitch at Stanford on the weekend, you know you're pretty good. And Matt Scott has been dealing. You see a 1.86 ERA, 31 strikeouts already in his young freshman season.
He unfolds that 6'7" frame and delivers a ball 6'7", 231 pounds from Reading, Connecticut.
They love his body type and his fastball, four-seamer with good spin, good carry on the ball up in the zone. As Rodney Green finds a hole after the 4 strikeout game last night. Good sign for him.
And he's a menace when he gets on base. He stole another bag last night. In the 9th inning, he's 17 for 18 in steal tries this year. So this will be a challenge here for the freshman Matt Scott to try and deal with Rodney Green over at first and Tom Soto at the plate. There goes Green, no hesitation, and he steals second base easily. Malcolm Moore, the freshman, behind the plate, and that's steal number 18 for Green.
I mean, get on and go right away so you can give the hitter a chance to work in at bat. And he's going first move off Scott in there easily, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him take third base with that kind of jump.
He did that against ASU over the weekend. The pitch to Soto. 1-1. The first pitch was a ball. This is a freshman battery with Scott on the mound and Malcolm Moore behind the plate for the 9th-ranked team in the nation. Green dancing around, and Moore will look him back, or Scott will look him back to second. Pitch to Soto is low. Talking to Mike New today and asked him on appeal, he did not go, 2-1. If there's anything with Rodney Green, do you talk to him, after yesterday's tough day? And he almost thought it was a silly question. Like, Rodney's fine. He just go up there and swing. His confidence is not shaken.
Part of the game. You're going to have nights like that in baseball. You play so many games and hitting is so hard.
Tommy Troy will look Green back, but then a bad throw to first gets away from Graham. Green's going to get over to third on the air, and runners on the corners with Soto safe at first. The pick was good over at third base by Troy, but the throw was too tough for Graham to handle.
Yeah, routine ball, got a nice hop at third base. And just kind of casually threw it over there, and short hops Carter Graham. And Cal's in business here, first and third, nobody out.
With the speed of Green, they're lucky he didn't score. And now here's a dangerous man, Caleb Lomavita. Lomavita's homered in both games against Stanford this year, including the 2-run shot last night. Two really good catchers in this series, Lomavita and Moore. Matt Scott with the 1-0. A lot to navigate right now for the freshman. Rodney Green at third and Soto at first.
And Lomavita hitting. Coming off a really strong night last night, as you said. Tough spot for the freshman.
Lomavita can swing it, and he really is such an emotional kind of lightning rod for this Cal team. He had a big double last night too. 3-0. And there's a strike. To give you an idea of how dangerous he is, last night after the Tucker Bougie 3-run homer made it 8-7, made a 1-run game. Rodney Green stole second, so tying run at second base, bottom of the ninth. They put Lomavita on, put the go-ahead run on base instead of pitching to him.
Stanford coaches know how dangerous he is. We were talking with Tommy before the game, Tommy Eager, pitching coach, and asking who the best hitters he faced this season. And Lomavita was at the top of his mind. He said, this guy is really dangerous. He's hurt us in the past, and they don't want to get him going.
Here comes the 3-2. Soto running. This ball flipped into shallow left. Cobb, the shortstop, going out. Incoming Rios. Cobb makes the play. Green thought about tagging. He stays put, and Soto retreats to first. And Matt Scott's able to retire Lomavita.
Nice play by Owen Cobb. Heading out to left field, shallow left field. Rios didn't have a great read on that fly ball. And Cobb bails him out with a nice play going back. Would have been fun to see Rodney tag right there with Cobb going back like that. A lot of times you see an infielder catch it on his back foot like that. You want to take a chance, especially with the speed of Rodney Green, but nobody out. They like to play it safe and see if Peyton Schultz can drive him in.
Schultz had an RBI last night. Schultz had a big at bat in the ninth inning last night. He walked to load the bases with one out in the bottom of the ninth, but then Cal had Cade Kretschmar at the plate and he'd into the game-ending double play. The pitch, and that's strike two. Schultz swings and misses, so a big strikeout for Scott. After the single in the air, he's gotten back-to-back outs. And now with two down, here is Cade Kretschmar.
Big pitch, 0-2. Strike the ball right there with that slider. Schultz unable to lay off it. And Matt Scott gets a big strikeout that he needed. Chance to get out of here with nothing. If he can retire. Cade Kretschmar.
Kretschmar 0 for 5 last night, was the hero on Saturday when he hit the walk-off home run in Cal's only win against Arizona State. Runners on the corners, 2 down, and he takes a strike. Kretschmar, the Ivy League MVP last year from Dartmouth, where he hit .353. The 0-1. Man, that is nicely handled by Moore. The ball gets by the catcher here at Evans Diamond and a runner at third. It's an automatic run, basically.
Automatic. You see the smile from Rodney Green. He was ready to pounce in case that got by Malcolm Moore, but Malcolm Moore showing his defensive prowess here early and saving a run.
Ball rolls downhill behind home here. Gets downhill in a hurry. Here's the 1-1. Foul. 1-2. All things considered, Matt Scott would have to feel pretty good if he got out of this in less than 20 pitches, or around 20 pitches. Inning had a potential to get messy, but he's got a shot to get out of it now. The pitch up high, and it's even.
It's a good pitch right there by Matt Scott, elevating the fastball, 2 strikes, trying to change the eye level of Kretschmar.
Soto at first and Green at third. The 2-2's popped up on the infield. Third baseman Tommy Troy calling for it, and he will put it away. And so after the base hit to start the game by Green, a stolen bag, and then an error, put runners on the corners with nobody out, Matt Scott works out of it. The freshman showing some mettle in the first. Pac-12 baseball is presented by Rawlings. Champions choose Rawlings. Second inning here in Berkeley with Cal and Stanford scoreless of the early going. Another good crowd tonight. Supposed to get some warmer temperatures over the weekend. It's been cold and rainy here in the Bay Area for what's felt like months.
Leading off the top of the second for the Cardinal.
In fact, the grounds crews had to account for the fact that the infield's been covered with tarp so much the grass hasn't grown. The Bermuda hasn't grown as much as normal, so they've had to do some of that sand to fill and just smooth things out. And there's a first pitch strike from Christian Becerra to Malcolm Moore. That's why when you see an infield ground ball, you'll see the sand kick up. It's not the typical way this field plays. With the shift, that ball is fisted behind the bag, and there's nothing Dom Soto's going to do about it. Malcolm Moore's got a hit and a smile.
Those type of hits always bring a smile to your face as a hitter. Game is so difficult when you get one of those. Hit them where they ain't balls. Nothing but smiles. And Malcolm Moore leads off the inning with an infield single.
Well, they say that statistically, when you think about defensive positioning, and here's Drew Bowser. Bowser 1 for 3 and a run scored last night. The Stanford second baseman. They say that defensively, when you think about positioning, it's statistically pointless to protect the line to the opposite side of the hitter, right? So you protect the line to the pull side. And if they're going to hit the ball where Moore just hit the ball, well, then that just happened. There's not much you can do about it. High pop-up caught by Peyton Schultz. Because you can't be everywhere. So you just got to play the percentages.
Exactly. Only got 9 guys. There's holes out there. You just got to find them.
Left fielder, number 11.
Now here's Alberto Rios, who hit a 2-run home run last night to get the scoring going. Stanford with 3 homers in game 1 of the series, all in the second inning. Cal would hit 3 home runs as well in the 7th, 8th, and 9th. So last night was very atypical for even some of the struggles that Stanford has. They have dominated, at least by the scoring numbers, the 8th and 9th innings this year by a wide scoring margin. And that was not the case in game 1. Rios jumps on that ball and hits it into left field. Bobbled for a moment by Johnston, but Moore will stop at second base.
Rios all over that hanging slider from Becerra. And he smokes that ball in the left field. Good piece of hitting. Rios stepped right in this lineup this year and has been a really good player so far this season.
And now here's Cole Hinkleman, the DH, today. Hinkleman did not play last night. He's only appearing in his 4th game of the season. That ball is hit hard into left center field, a base hit. Malcolm Moore's coming around third base. He's going to score. Stopping at second is Rios, and Cole Hinkleman with the base knock. An RBI hit for him. Stanford leads 1-0. And for Hinkleman, that's his first hit in 2 years.
Coach Esker pushing the right buttons. Gives Hinkleman the start, and he delivers. Line drive, good piece of hitting to the opposite field. Malcolm Moore scores easily.
That's got to feel good. Hinkleman's first RBI since 2020, his first hit since 2021. And now a bunt from Owen Cobb, and the only play here will be the first. In fact, there will not be a play there either. And now the bases are loaded.
Well, that one didn't roll downhill. That one just kind of stuck there. Perfect placement on the bunt by Owen Cobb. Loads him up for Stanford.
And now the top of the order. Eddie Park steps in. Rios at third, Hinkleman at second, Cobb at first. But just like last night, Cal starting pitching in a second inning bind. This was a 5-run inning in game 1 for Stanford.
Saw Matt Scott limit the damage in the bottom half of the first. Becerra has a chance to try and limit some damage here, see if he can hold the Stanford Cardinal here, get a ground ball, and get out of this inning.
It's the 4th start of the year for Becerra. That ball lined, but a leaping grab by Crawford at short for out number 2.
Well, we've seen some balls not hit hard this inning for hits. Eddie Park absolutely smokes that one. And Carson Crawford hops up, and great base running by the Stanford Cardinals. You see all 3 runners heading back to the base on that line drive, avoiding the double play.
Now here's Carter Graham. Are you saying that Eddie Park had that hit taken away because Malcolm Moore got a hit?
They say it all evens out, which I don't agree with as a hitter, but
yeah, nobody hits 500, so it can't all even out,
nope.
right? This ball smoked right to the shortstop. Crawford knocks it down, but he can't get the out at second. Coming home to score is Rios, and the inning keeps going. It's 2-0 Stanford.
Another hard hit. This time Carter Graham does the job. Hits one tough hop. Kind of ate Carson Crawford up. The ball kind of bounced high up towards his neck area. Just wasn't able to catch it cleanly.
And so we continue the inning. That could have got Cal out of it. Would have been a tough play. Here's Tommy Troy. 8th batter of the inning for Stanford.
You see Stanford starting to take some good swings on that slider from Becerra. He's going to have to start getting that ball a little bit more down in the zone. That was a good one right there.
Missed for a ball, 1-1. Becerra went 2 2/3 against Stanford back in February. There's a strike.
That was a good one. That one had a good late bite, and that one finished down at the bottom of the zone. And leaving a few of them up, and the ones that he's left up, they've hit hard.
Here's the 1-2. Blocked by Loma Vida, 2-2. So you go back to the slider here.
Yeah, Tommy's laid off 2 good ones that finish out of the zone. I think he'll probably go back to it. That's his best pitch, but I wouldn't mind trying to sneak a fastball by Tommy. He hit a slider with 2 strikes last at bat.
Hit hard, but Crawford gobbles it up and collects in time to throw Handren out. So Becerra does give up a couple, but limits what could have been worse damage. Stanford takes a 2-0 lead. Take a look at Pac-12 baseball standings coming into action tonight. Stanford at ASU both at 8-2. USC a game back in the loss column at 9-3. Meanwhile, Cal and Arizona both at 3-10, and that's important. Getting to the 9th place spot is a big deal. The top 9 teams go to Scottsdale Stadium for the Pac-12 tournament this year. New format this season. Matt Scott, after working out of trouble in the first inning, delivers his first pitch of the second to Max Handren, 6'7", part of the Cal order. After Stanford got a couple of runs in the top of the inning. On the ground, but Bowser was right there. And Handren's retired, 1 down. It looked like last night, well, it could have gone 2 different ways. Stanford almost lost and ASU almost lost. They both ended up winning. Arizona State scored 9 runs in the bottom, scored 3 runs in the bottom of the 9th to come back and beat Washington State 6-5 last night. So there was almost a little separation in the Pac-12 standings as Stanford held off that furious Cal comeback. Both won and both stay tied. And they'll meet later this year, Stanford and ASU. That'll be a series at Arizona State in April. I want to know to Carson Crawford in there for a strike. It's 1-1. That'll be a great matchup of really good hitters and really good pitchers. Arizona State with Ryan Campos and New Contradas. Saying, you know, the Cal pitchers got the top 4 hitters in back-to-back series in the league. Contradas and Campos, and then Troy and Montgomery.
Pac-12 is tough. I mean, those 4, but I feel like every weekend you're running into good pitching and good hitting. But Cal trying to find their footing here early in the season. 3-10 so far in conference. But Coach New is confident in this group. He knows the talent's there, so it just might take a little more time. But I have a feeling they're going to be there here in the second half of the conference season.
Do you think, as Crawford strikes out, second strikeout for Scott. We're already, into the second inning of this game, but does what happened at the end of last night, even though they lost for a young team like they are, can that have an effect?
Absolutely. I was talking, any kind of momentum you get in baseball, you try and roll with it. And you come back against Stanford 8-2, have the winning run at the plate, guy hits the ball hard. Unfortunately, you don't come away with a win, but the momentum you get from that game, the confident feeling you got from some of the hitters, you saw Lamavita hit a homer, that can definitely carry over into the next game and the rest of the series.
Bud now ahead in the count 2-0. The DH 0 for 2 last night, had a couple of walks. Scott's pitch is fouled back. Matt Scott, I mentioned the Gatorade State Player of the Year in Connecticut. Whereas a senior, he had an ERA of .18. The 2-1 pitch is up high, which really showed his improvement because his freshman year in high school, he had a huge ERA of .50. And he got that thing down to .18 by his senior year.
That's tough to do. Improve on a .5.
The 3-1 to Button fouled away, and the count's full. He had 82 strikeouts and 10 walks last year in high school in 39 innings, and he hit .564.
Might be grabbing a bat here.
I'm sure he's asked. Button stays alive. Last week against Oklahoma Saturday, uncharacteristically had some command issues. He walked 5, which had not been the standard for him. He lasted 4 1/3, gave up 3 hits, 2 earned runs, but the 5 walks really stood out as abnormal for him. There's called strike 3 to Button. 3 strikeouts for Matt Scott, and we're through 2 innings now. He throws up a 0 after his offense gets him a lead, and Stanford's up 2-0. Well, take a look at what Stanford's done offensively so far this year. Remember, last year they hit 118 homers, a program record. This point, last year they had 29 homers. This year they got 43. They're hitting better than any team in over 20 years at Stanford has, and already more doubles than any team since 2012 at Stanford.
Yeah, it's just a continuation of their second half of their season last year. They really got hot at the end of the season. They won that Super Regional on the long ball and carried into Omaha, and it's really rolled right into the early half of this season. A lot of power. They lost a lot of power, but brought a lot back.
Here's Braden Montgomery for the second time. Popped out in foul ground down the third base line his first time. You saw David Esker there a moment ago on the left of the screen. This matchup, Esker and Mike New, 2 of the most well-liked and respected coaches in baseball. Esker, of course, had such a great career as a player at Stanford, an assistant for Mark Marquis there, then a great almost 20-year run here at Cal, where he was the coach of the year of the Pac-12, and 2 times since going back to the farm, the coach of the year, including last year in the Pac. The 1-2 pitch to Montgomery is low. But you're right, that was a team that had been to Omaha 2 years in a row, and this time, so you're saying this time last year, they weren't quite the team that eventually got to Omaha.
No, they started slow. Bowser got off to a slow start. Brock Jones got off to a slow start. Tommy Troy wasn't hitting well early, and then about this time last year, they all kind of kicked it into gear and rode that power all the way to Omaha.
Second strikeout of the game for Becerra, and that feels good after he faced 8 batters in the second inning. This a big inning for Becerra to settle things down?
Yeah, he's got the middle of the order. Try and keep this a 2-run game, get the leadoff guy out. Their top hitter and Braden Montgomery able to punch him out.
The shift that you could no longer see in the big leagues, we've got for Malcolm Moore. He beat it his last time up with a single down the left field line, kind of squibber down the third base line. more accurately. From McClatchy High School in Sacramento, not far away. Two-time Player of the Year in the state. And the #1 prospect in the state, according to Perfect Game, coming out of high school. A lot of great baseball gets played in Sacramento. And Malcolm Moore, one of the latest products of that. Count even at 2-2.
Yeah, they were nervous about getting him to campus. They were really excited when he showed up, but a lot of sleepless nights for the coaches at Stanford, thinking he might be in pro ball by this time now, but he's come right here and fit right into this staff as a catcher. And offensively, he's swinging the bat really well as well.
He's just a freshman, but he will, based on the age qualification, be a draft-eligible sophomore next year. A 3-2 pitch. Fights it off. Tough play for the third baseman Soto, playing at shortstop position, and his bare hand is not in time. And Malcolm Moore, how about a catcher with 2 infield hits?
No smile that time, but he'll take it. 2 for 2. Ball has not left the infield for Malcolm Moore. But again, he gets things going for Stanford. That's what happens when you put the ball in play with 2 strikes. You know, strikeouts have kind of become okay in some aspects, but always put the ball in play when you got a chance, and good things can happen.
Now here's Drew Bowser, who popped out to right his first time up. Do you think there's any thought by Cal to adjust the shift to Moore, or are you happy to let him hit singles the other way?
I'd probably start moving over. Looks like he's staying inside the ball, and that's a focus for him right now.
He bluffs from first base, and that fouled away. Nice snag in the on-deck circle from Alberto Rios. One to Bowser is hit well and deep to left field, and that ball is way gone. A towering homer for Drew Bowser, and Stanford leads 4-0.
Just talked about the long ball for Stanford. A bloop and a blast. Drew Bowser hits the ball as hard as anybody in college baseball, and he hits a moonshot. I think it went over the scoreboard in left center, but he gets his 6th home run of the year. 4-0 Stanford.
Yeah, you're right. The question is, where did that go?
I lost it. This is a absolute rocket.
Oof.
Knew it as soon as he hit it. Short, compact swing, gets his front foot down early, right through the baseball. I've seen Drew Bowser hit some long home runs, and that was another one to chalk up.
That's his 6th of the year. You could see on the replay from center field, the angle, Becerra's neck is like he's looking straight up in the air to watch that ball fly. That ball was crushed. Here's Alberto Rios. He cuts and misses, 1-1.
Here, let's go get some coffee.
Remember, Bowser hit the 6 postseason home runs last year, which led the nation. It's just such a long lineup. They average almost 9 runs a game. Scored 8 last night. #1 scoring offense in the Pac-12. They hit 9 homers in 4 games at Oklahoma. 3 homers last night and now 1 tonight. So that's 13 homers in the last 5+ games.
The beat goes on.
Yeah. The 2-2 to Rios. Crawford. Good throw over to first base, and that's out #2. So how is it that this Stanford team can get better at this point if they're not nearly a finished product?
I think you saw it last night at the bullpen.
Yeah.
Being able to protect and hold these leads. They got a 4-run lead here. Scott probably going to give the ball away at some point. And trying to find consistency out of that bullpen is probably the key to their season.
There's Cole Hinkleman, the DH, appearing in his 4th game of the season. I mentioned got his first hit. Did not have a hit last year. Has not had a hit yet this year. His first hit since his sophomore year. And his first RBI since his freshman year.
I mean, you saw that swing he had last inning. This guy doesn't even really play. You get a ball like that, left center, right off the bench, not having played, not many at-bats. It's pretty impressive.
He had a good BP session on the field. Crushed a couple of big homers out to right center.
Really good-looking swing.
2 runs across in the inning. 7 hits for Stanford already in this game. Hinkleman, the RBI single back in the 2nd. Swings and misses there, 2-2. Cal started Daniel Colwell last night. Got a couple innings out of him, knowing it would be a bullpen game. Swing and a miss. Loma Vida out from behind the plate to complete the putout at first. The strikeout is the 3rd of the game for Becerra, but he gives up the 2-run shot to Bowser, and Stanford adds 2. On to the bottom of the 3rd inning here at Cal. Stanford has scored in each of the last 2 innings, a couple of runs apiece. Got the beer tap out. We got the tacos down the first base line. You got the hot dogs down the third base line.
What'd you go with?
Carne asada. Matt Scott back out for his 3rd inning. He'll face Jack Johnston, Rodney Green Jr., and Dom Soto, the 9-1-2 part of the order.
Number 10, Jack Johnston.
Can't be too many college ballparks where you can get tacos.
No, I mean...
You've been to some college ballparks, right?
I have. I don't remember seeing tacos anywhere.
Johnston, one of Cal's really backup infielders, playing in left field. Cal's outfield has been pretty banged up. They got 4 outfielders hurt right now. Jag Burden, the right fielder, played a lot of right field. Nathan Manning's played a lot of left field. Just got a cast off a broken bone last week. And so it's been Manning who's turned into an outfielder. Takes the strike from Scott. Tough play for the shortstop, Cobb. And he makes it. Dug out by Graham over at first to get Johnston hustling down the line.
Strong range to his right. Tommy Troy just out of his reach, but Cobb's able to get over there and fire a nice 1-hop. Throw to Carter Graham for the first out.
Now Scott will face Rodney Green for the 2nd time. Green singled up the middle to start the game for Cal back at the bottom of the 1st, and then stole a bag, his 18th steal of the year. Rodney Green's ready to hit, isn't he?
Yes, he is. He sees a strike and he's swinging, and he's not getting cheated.
Sophomore from the Bay Area, from Richmond, went to El Cerrito High School. Down to the count 0-2. That ball hit hard. Not much room over there with Carter Graham, the first baseman, playing just behind the bag. Drew Bowser, the second baseman, in the right field. And Owen Cobb, the shortstop, playing up the middle. You see at the top left of the screen there, that was the shortstop, Cobb, not Bowser, the second baseman, who was not in the picture. There's a swing and a miss for Green. And that's the 4th strikeout for Matt Scott.
Matt Scott's got it working. He's getting in a nice groove, staying ahead of the hitters.
Number 9.
I feel like every hitter's 0-2, 1-2. And here he goes with the changeup, just nasty. Bottom falls right out. Rodney Green swings over the top for a strikeout.
Man, Scott, we mentioned the Oklahoma game where he had the 5 walks, but he had back-to-back really good starts before that. Dom Soto, who reached on an error his last time, steps in. In the air to right. But right there is Montgomery. Another 1-2-3 inning. After a hit and an error to start the game, Matt Scott has retired 9 straight Bears. And we go to the 4th inning. It's 4-0 Stanford. For nothing, Stanford, after taking game 1 of the series last night. We go to the top of the 4th inning, and Christian Becerra back out to face the 9-1-2 part of this order. Stanford scored 2 runs in each of the last 2 innings. And right now, their pitcher, Matt Scott, is rolling.
Yeah, he's in a nice groove, as I said. He's got all 3 pitches working. He's just consistently throwing strike 1, getting ahead of Cal, and really limited any hard contact at all.
So what can Becerra do here to try and keep Cal in it? Remember, Cal scored 5 runs in the last couple innings last night. Almost pulled off a huge comeback. Owen Cobb takes up high for a ball, 1-0. Cobb homered last night. Man, an infield bunt single his first time tonight. This was the home run last night for Cobb off of Colwell. In fact, he's homered twice off of Colwell now this year. Did it back in February and in the 2nd inning last night. Went out to left. Head of the count here, 2-1.
Love to see that a 4-year player hasn't got a lot of time in there, but stepped in this year and saw the defensive play he made last inning. Homer last night, bunt hit tonight. Doing it all.
Skies a pop-up into right. Kretschmar coming in, and he makes the catch. 1 down. Well, it's a hard lineup to crack, right?
Yeah, he's replacing the great one in Adam Crampton, one of the better defensive shortstops in the history of the Pac-12, and lose him, and Stanford really hasn't missed a beat.
Now here's Eddie Park, 4th inning. It's his 3rd plate appearance. Flew out to center, hit a rocket line drive that was caught by the shortstop Crawford his last time, but he gets right back to work. He took a hard turn. Boy, I think he thinks 2 bags out of the box no matter where he hits it. And he's on base with a single here. 9th hit of the day for Stanford. Now here's Carter Graham. Graham hit the home run last night and hit a double. Ooh. That ball off the mask of the catcher, Loma Vida, and off to second base goes Park. It was almost like Loma Vida wanted time.
Yeah, I'm not sure where he got hit, but that was a mix-up, cross-up, however you want to call it. I think he took that right square in the helmet.
Take a look at this.
He's expecting breaking ball, and Becerra throws a heater, and that one is not going to feel good.
Oh, he didn't know where the ball was. And so they cost a bag. Eddie Park now in scoring position for Carter Graham. Glad Loma Vida's all right. I guess there's some conversations PitchCom can't have.
Can't fix everything.
Here's the 1-0. That ball fouled away. Talking to Carter Graham around the batting cage today, he said Yeah, the home run was hit far, but the hardest ball he hit last night was not the home run. It was this.
They say they all even out. That's a rocket. Base hit all the way.
Throwing back at second base, but Park is safe. One and one. The count here to Graham. And it's now 1-2.
Good pitch by Becerra. That's, see, when he gets that ball down and locates it down and away, it's a really tough pitch.
That kicks away from Loma Vida, and Park is going to take third.
Good base running by Park. Reads that ball in the dirt, reads it early. Into third base easily now. Chance to get score. Infield staying back. Carter Graham's got to put this in play for a run.
A 1-2 pitch. Did he go? No, he did not. And the count even at 2-2. Stanford assistant Andre Mercurio talking around the cage said to Graham, what was your exit velo on that ball? Just asking him to guess. Breaking ball popped up. Schultz is going to give that a look. Well, that's out of play. And Mercurio's the first base coach for Stanford. And we don't have the number. We don't know what the exit velocity of it was. But Graham said 107, 110. So
I'd
he had
agree.
it dialed.
I'd agree.
I mean, you check enough for your numbers, you probably have a good feel for it, right?
These guys are all aware of the data and the technology now, and they know everything. They all have the motion sensors, blast motion on their bats and bat speed, so they know they're dialed in on how hard and how fast they're swinging.
Good battle here between Graham and Becerra. Another 3-2, and he went around. Park is over at third base. Put a little pressure on that throw, but Loma Vida makes it, completing the put out of Graham, and that's out number 2. 4 Ks now for Becerra.
Becerra able to win that battle and get the RBI man, Carter Graham, chasing that nasty 3-2 slider. See, he holds it with a spike grip. Able to get a little bit extra bite on it by doing that.
Tommy Troy smokes this one out to left, towards the gap, back, and gone. Just over the 365 sign. And it's 6-0 Stanford.
He's been all over that slider all night. Base hit in the first, hit the last one hard, last inning. Becerra goes right back to it, and Troy's all over on the first pitch. Rips another 2-run homer to left field for Stanford. Here it is. That one just sits right down there, right down the middle. First pitch strike. Troy was ready for it.
Well, you called it his last at bat. You said I wouldn't throw him a slider. Becerra did and got away with it. Got away with it in that Troy smoked it right to the shortstop. Carson Crawford came back with it and did not get as lucky this time. So the average keeps going up. 417 when he came in. 2 hits today. Here's Montgomery. I think you look.
At the slug going up, average, everything's going up.
I love the Montgomery smile there between every pitch. You see that?
You got a conversation about why he does that. Pretty good explanation we got.
The 1-1 pitch. Watch him. He's going to take a moment here, collect himself. Montgomery, the batter, looks into the dugout and smiles. Between every pitch, 2-1. 2-2. All right, watch. Hit his chest, and it's just a way. It's his. Everybody has little mental checks for themselves, and that's his. Smile, stay in the right mindset, stay in the right mind frame, and it helps him remember to approach the way he wants to approach it. Not happy with that, though, as he looks at strike 3. 5 Ks for Becerra, but the 3rd inning in a row that Stanford scores 2 runs. 6-0 Cardinals. 6-0 Stanford as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. 10 hits already for Stanford in this game. Just 1 hit for Cal, and it was the first batter of the game. Since then, Rodney Green got on. Dom Soto reached on an error. And since then, 9 straight batters have been retired.
Yeah, he was in a little trouble in that first inning. 1st and 3rd, nobody out. Cobb makes a great play going over his shoulder in left field. And since then, he's just been dialed in. You see him again throwing strike 1, getting ahead. Key to success.
Not a Cal lineup you can sleep on. Remember, Cal was down 8-1 last night, came back, lost 8-7, and Caleb Lomavito was the spark plug. Count even at 1-1. Lomavita yesterday got a double in a 7-run deficit and was looking at his bench, screaming at him, pumping them up from second base.
He is a competitor.
High foul pop, right field line, long run for Graham, still running, and he gets all the way over and makes the catch. What a play by the first baseman.
All this foul ground. It's reminiscent of the Coliseum down in Oakland, but Carter Graham, long way to go. He was able to get over there. Still had plenty of room.
He looked, for a guy that doesn't play here every day, he looked really comfortable. Now here's Peyton Schultz. Is there any way you can really prepare for a field's, when you're on the road, foul territory before you get into the game?
It's just the mental awareness, the mental checklist. I can keep going because I'm not going to run out of room. You just know in certain parks you have some more than others, some less than others, but you just got to be aware of it.
Helps to not have a bullpen mound down there, right?
Exactly. That's where you get into trouble, having to run over a mound when you're not looking down.
Peyton Schultz struck out his first time. Matt Scott with pitch number 50 on the way. Scott, before that start against Oklahoma, had been lights out. His previous 2 starts against Utah and Oregon State, he'd allowed 1 earned run in 14 innings, and he'd struck out 12 in that span against just 4 walks. He was the pitcher of the week for his performance against Utah. On that day, just for reference, he threw 102 pitches. Making his 5th start of the year. 3-2. Called strike 3. Strikeout number 5. And the 11th straight batter retired by Scott.
You're around the zone. You make a perfect pitch. Borderline call. Umpire's going to give it to you. Perfect pitch. Good job by Malcolm framing that one. Too close to take with 2 strikes.
Well, that's been a strike all night, right? That part of the plate.
I think it was on the plate, so
well,
good pitch.
So it's been a strike for a century, but Cade Kretschmar now popped out in the first inning to third base. One 1-0. Sprayed foul.
See Cal just not able to be on time on that heater at the top of the zone. A lot of foul balls, a lot of swings and misses. That late life that Matt Scott has on his fastball, that four-seamer, has really been giving Cal trouble tonight.
1-1. What does it take for a college pitcher the four-seamer for Scott. Becerra's kind of, they moved him from a four-seamer to a two-seamer. Is it just about velocity, movement?
Pitch data, yeah. So if you have good verticality, good carry on your fastball, you kind of want to throw a four-seamer. You have more. He's on time for that one.
Boy, that ball is smoked. Way back and gone. Kretschmar gets Cal on the board.
What you got to do, you know he's got a fastball. It's his best pitch. You got to go up there in your mind and say, I'm going to be on time and I'm going to hammer it. Kretschmar does that, pulls his hand in on the inside fastball, gets Cal on the board for their first run of the evening.
Home run number 5 for Kretschmar. And that breaks the streak of 11 straight batters retired by Matt Scott.
Trying to sneak the cheese inside, and that ball's off the plate. Kretschmar does an excellent job being short and quick to the baseball. Matt Scott supplied the power. Kretschmar put his bat to the ball, and we got their first run of the night.
Yeah, wow. How did it get to that pitch? Here's Handren.
That was the right pitch. You saw him late on the heater, foul one over the third base dugout. Try and get one inside, and Kretschmar was ready for a good adjustment.
The 1-0 to Handren. Out of play. Fourth home run of the series for Cal. The 1-0. And that's in there for strike one. Carson Crawford, who homered last night, is on deck. Trying to chip away here at this Stanford lead in the fourth inning. Too high. Over 500 all-time meetings between these two programs. Count now is full. There's some discrepancies in the record keeping, but this is at least the 509th meeting. My Stanford leading all time by about 40 wins. That's ball 4. So Handren follows up the home run from Kretschmar by drawing a walk.
For the Bears, their shortstop, number 6, Carson Crawford.
Good at bat by Handren. Able to lay off that 3-2 pitch.
Trying to get a 2-out rally going here after the homer. Here's Crawford, who struck out his first time up. Last night in the 7th inning, he went deep.
About the only guy to solve Quinn Matthews last night. Got a fastball right down the middle.
It really was. He hit it off the top of the scoreboard. Quinn Matthews, that was the only earned run he allowed last night in his 13 strikeout performance. Quinn Matthews, going back to the Thursday night starter for Stanford last night, he had 10 strikeouts against Oklahoma last week, so he had 23 strikeouts in his last 14 2/3 innings. Hit sharply past the third baseman, Troy, and that trickles into left. Handren's on his way to third. He'll stop there. Racing into second base is Crawford, and Cal's got some more action here in the fourth.
Yeah, Troy gets eaten up by this ground ball. Ball's hit hard, but it's a play that he probably should have made. And Cal Bears have some little bit of life here in the bottom of the fourth.
It's the second error of the game for Stanford. Now runners at second and third for the DH, Nico Button. Yeah.
Got on a little bit quicker. I think the ball's hit a little bit harder harder than he anticipated. Wasn't able to get a glove on it.
And you see Thomas Eager, the great pitching coach for Stanford, having a conversation with his freshman. Long inning for him. He got out of trouble in the first inning, and I was going to try and do it again with the DH Nico Button stepping in.
For the Golden Bears, their designated hitter, number 30, Nico Button.
Well, a hit here would put Cal right back in this game. Here's the pitch to Button, and it's a ball 1-0. Handred at third, Crawford at second. And this ball hit hard, starting in on it. The center fielder Park goes back and puts it away, and Button squared it up. But Scott gets away, works around the air, leaves two on base. Cal gets one, and the Bears are on the. On to the fifth inning. New pitcher here for Cal. The night done for Christian Becerra. And it's the lanky right-hander Connor Sullivan, 6'5", 180, from Martinez, California, here in the Bay Area. Went to college at San Mateo. Last appeared against ASU when he went 4 innings of work. You see, made one start this year. This will be his 8th appearance. But 28 innings, he does have the 22 Ks against the 8 walks this season.
Real long limbs. You see his long legs, long arm. Over the top delivery, 3-pitch mix. He's a strike thrower. He's going to come in there and try and settle this game down and keep Stanford at bay with 6 runs. Give his team a chance.
This was the recipe last night. Didn't get a great start last night. Didn't get a great start today. Last night the bullpen held Stanford's offense down enough, I mean, relatively speaking, to allow the Cal offense to get back in it. So here's Connor Sullivan to face Malcolm Moore, who's been on base twice today. And the shift's still on for him. He's beaten the shift twice. Sullivan delivers, and Moore hits a high fly to center. Rodney Green is there for out number 1. First time that Moore's been retired today. And now it'll be Drew Bowser. Bowser homered his last time. And I don't know if that ball will get found. And he hits this ball squarely, but right to the right fielder Kretschmar. And there's 2 down.
Another rocket off the bat of Bowser. Kretschmar thought it was going to be right at him. Still had to catch that on his tippy toes.
There's not a lot of waiting around at the plate for Stanford tonight, is there?
They're swinging early in the count, even if it's a breaking ball. So you can't just kind of lay one in there and get me over breaking ball. You got to actually make a good pitch. Otherwise, it's going to be hit hard.
David Esker having a long conversation with Alberto Rios. And after that long conversation, Rios is going to stroll to the plate.
I'm trying to buy Matt Scott some time. 2 quick outs after his pitcher had a long inning. Smart, savvy, veteran move by Coach Esker.
And even Rios did, Rios walked about as slowly as he could to home. And you're right, only took 3 pitches to get 2 outs. And Sullivan works quickly. Oh, and that ball hit the replay screen that's over by the Stanford dugout. That's where the replay booth, so to speak, is here at Evans Diamond. He went around. That's a strike. There it is. I guess it's David Esker's job to protect it, huh? He's in charge over there.
Right guy for the job.
A 1-2 to Rios up high. Cal pitching has not had a 1-2-3 inning tonight. Stanford scored in each of the last 3 innings. 2-run homer in the 4th, 2-run homer in the 3rd. A couple of runs in the 2nd. The 3-2 to Rios. Swing and a miss. First 1-2-3 inning for Cal pitching, and it comes from Connor Sullivan out of the bullpen. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Well, we're back at it again this year. Ben, you'll be there, Scottsdale Stadium, for the Pac-12 baseball tournament. 9 teams this year, split into 3 pools. Round robin play, then 3 pool winners and 1 wildcard team advance to the single elimination semifinals. Every team guaranteed 2 games in pool play. And so the 9th place spot, that's a big deal. That's where Cal is tied right now with Arizona. The top 9 teams go to Scottsdale.
Yeah, that was an exciting tournament last year. I'm looking forward to going back again. A lot of good games. The epic UCLA 20-inning something like game.
Johnston hits a line drive to left, and that rocket is out of here. Check the apex on that homer.
Talk about exit velocity. You can't hit a ball any harder than that. Cal Bears have a little momentum here. 6-2. Johnson just all over that heater. Cal starting to be on time for this fastball, and Johnson just rips that one to left field. Leads off the inning with a homer.
Second home run off of Scott in the game. And now here's Rodney Green Jr. You know, he can make something happen if he can get on. Singled, stole a bag back in the 1st inning, and struck out in the 3rd. 1-0. Five home runs in the series now for Cal. Five home runs in the series for Stanford. Swing and a miss. Green struck out 4 times last night. He had a steal in the 9th inning, and talking to Mike New, he said, you know, the funny thing about it, he got his worst jump of the year, and he still stole second base easily in a 1-run game in the 9th. You know, a steal situation, and they still couldn't get him. The 3-2 pitch, and there's ball 4.
Good at bat by Rodney. You'd like to see that, him laying off some tough pitches out of the zone and able to take his walk. He's such a threat on the bases. You'd like to see him take those walks. Now he's probably going to be in scoring position here fairly quickly.
18 steals and 19 tries this year. Do you have to expect that he's running on the first pitch?
Yes, I think so, and we'll see if they pitch out.
Scott throws home. And this ball's popped up. Green wasn't running that time. Another high, long run, and just out of room was Graham. Well, really, he had room, but just couldn't get to it. He didn't know that he had another step.
A little tricky right there. He was just by the dugout cutout. Had 2 more steps. Just didn't find the wall in time, but Dom Soto lives for another pitch.
Check on Green over at first. Matt Scott, the freshman, pitching to Malcolm Moore, the freshman catcher. And there's strike 2. Caleb Lomavita on deck. Solo homer in the 4th, solo homer in the 5th for Cal. Green back in again. Good crowd tonight. They're on it. They boo. Now Green is running. The 0-2 is lined down the left field line, foul. Green would have scored if that had found its way inside the chalk. But instead it stays at 0-2, and he'll jog on back to first.
That's what happens. Tried to be a little bit too quick to the plate. Ends up hanging an 0-2 pitch right there, and Dom Soto just unable to keep it fair, but he's worried about Rodney Green, and sometimes that makes you leave pitches up in the zone.
Green runs again. That one is up high. Good throw to second base, and they got him. Just the second time Green has been caught this year. That was a good pitch to throw on. And Moore put it on the money.
You see Matt Scott going to a slide step. He's able to get the ball to Malcolm Moore in time, and Malcolm Moore, strong, accurate throw right on the money. Took a perfect throw to get Rodney Green, and they did it.
Just the second man to catch Green this year. And then Soto goes around, and that's strike 3. And in a hurry, Cal's gone from trying to get something cooking to the base is empty with 2 outs.
Back catcher, number 15, Caleb Lomavita.
Now Caleb Lomavita popped out twice. Doesn't get cheated, huh?
Love to see that.
High pop-up. Cobb, the shortstop, onto the grass, and he makes the catch. A 1-2-3 inning for Matt Scott, the freshman for Stanford, works around the walk to Green, and we head to the 6th. To the 6th inning, and back out onto the mound for Cal is Connor Sullivan. Second inning of relief. Good night to bring the blanket out to the ballpark. It's been a good crowd tonight. This I think this series brings them out.
That or the tacos.
That and the tacos.
That and the tacos, correct.
Game 3 of this series tomorrow, 6:05. First pitch, it'll be Paulshan Pasqualado going for Cal, the junior right-hander. And for Stanford, it'll be Joey Dixon, who is coming off a career-high performance. He had 8 strikeouts against Oklahoma on Sunday. Nothing like your Game 3 starter, and this is the case with Joey Dixon having a 3.28 ERA. That's what Stanford rolls out.
Leading off the 6th for the Cardinals Your designated hitter, number 29.
Now here's the DH Cole Hinkleman. 8, 9, 1 hitters due up for Stanford here in the top of the 6th inning against Sullivan. Stanford improving to 8-2 in Pac-12 play with the win last night. Mentioned Arizona State had the comeback win against Washington State last night to keep pace. Those two in the 6th inning right now, they're tied at 2. Wazoo at ASU. Arizona, and this is relevant to Cal because they're trying to keep pace. And that, not keep pace, they're trying to get ahead of them for 9th, 8th place, maybe keep moving up as Handren makes the play. And I say all this understanding, there's 25 games left. So this is not quite a race yet, but just something to keep an eye on. Arizona is pounding Washington right now. That game in the 8th inning, it's 12-4 Wildcats there. How about UCLA and Utah? They're in the 12th, and it's scoreless.
Wow. 12 innings, no runs. UCLA has been struggling here in the middle part of the conference season.
Owen Cobb. Bunt single and a pop out. He went around there, or that pitch was just called a strike. UCLA and Stanford will play end of April. They have series wins against Oregon and Arizona, and they entered play this weekend one of the lowest ERAs in the nation. UCLA, a 3.45 earned run average. Top 10 in strikeout to walk ratio. Actually, they're 5th in strikeout to walk ratio in the country. 7th in walks per 9 innings. But as we can see, the pitching's not the issue tonight. They haven't given up a run. There have been 21 combined strikeouts in that UCLA-Utah game.
Don't see that very often in college baseball. 0-0 into the 12th.
Yeah. And Oregon and Oregon State playing tonight. They were rained out yesterday. Oregon leading that game 1-0 in the bottom of the 5th inning. Eddie Park, the leadoff man, waiting on deck. 2 runs in the 2nd, 2 runs in the 3rd, 2 runs in the 4th for Stanford. 10 hits for the Cardinal tonight. The 2 runs for Cal have each come on solo homers. So 2 runs on 3 hits for the Bears. Sullivan with the 3-2 to Cobb, and this ball out towards center. But Green is there.
Rodney gets a good jump on that ball. Reads it well. Comes in, makes the catch easily.
Number 22, Eddie Park.
Still shaking his head about getting thrown out at second base on that steal attempt.
It has to be pretty shocking, doesn't it, when you're as successful as he is. Now Eddie Park for the 4th time. Singled and scored his last time. Eddie Park really impacted the game with his legs. Sullivan has retired 5 straight since coming into the game last inning. Here's the 2-0 to Park. And now it's 3 balls and no strikes. Park has now hit safely in 22 of 27 games this year.
That pitch looked pretty good.
I mean, usually on 3-0, things get a little bigger, right? The strike zone.
think Eddie was a little surprised that was called a ball. Slowly takes off his shin guard. Sullivan shaking his head.
Can you read lips? So Park on it first. Now here's Carter Graham, who struck out his last time. Park dancing around over there at first, and they'll check on him. Carter Graham started this season 2 for 30, but that is a distant memory now. He's hitting .343 this year with 2 outs. Fouls that away, count 1-1. Another check on Park. Since that 2 for 30 start, he's hitting .363. So he's turned it around.
Good hitters just sometimes you gotta be a little patient.
There goes the runner. Swing and a miss. Throw to second base. Gets by the covering second baseman Handren into center field. Green comes up throwing to third, and Park made it.
A lot going on. That was a bang play. Park head first in the second. Bounced up quickly, and you see the strong arm that we talked about from Rodney Green. And I think he's out. Very good challenge.
The third base umpire, William Van Raphorst. They're on the left. And so we do have the challenge from Cal. The monitor is just over near the Stanford, basically in the Stanford dugout.
Coach Esker let him over there.
Yeah, right this way. Let's see. So your first call was out.
Depends on if he got him on the butter. Tough for the umpire to see that. This would be a good look right here. I think he's out.
You know, my question, his wrist definitely comes down on Park, right? Soto's wrist, does the glove contact Park as part of that?
Got him on the shirt right there.
Oh, you think he got him coming down there? All right, right there.
Yep.
The lace of the glove?
Yep.
Maybe more than that, but I think you might be right. Got the pinky of the glove. Is there enough there?
Might not be enough to overturn it. But
it's one of those, if they'd called him out and David Esker had challenged, that wouldn't have been overturned.
I think from my eye, he's out, but I think the call on the field might have to stand.
Yeah. And I think you might be right, but can they know that? It's a good look. And then you can see they've got the zoomed angle of it. For now, Park is safe at third. There are 2 outs, so if he's called out, the inning will be over. And then you go from talking about aggressive base running to the cardinal sin. The first challenge by either team of this series. 2 head coach challenges per game. There's Mike New. He's taking a shot here, understanding 4-run deficit, 6th inning. Another opportunity for Stanford to add on if Park is safe. And the umpires have completed their work. And the ruling on the field will stand. Park is safe.
The call on the field stands. Safe at third.
And stands is the call. So I think Soto wants to ask. But I think you got it. Just can't be for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe if he's wearing a white jersey, or the glove, the black glove on the black jersey makes it a little more complicated too, perhaps.
Yeah, I think so. It's really tough. You said it might have been by a lace, same color glove, same color shirt. Whatever the call was on the field was gonna be the one that stands.
So now it's up to Sullivan to try and get out of this. 2-2 pitch to Carter Graham. Chopped over towards first, and that ball is foul. Get a new ball. Stanford scored the first 6 runs of this game. Cal scored the last 2. Park dancing down from third. The 2-2 is wide and the count is full. Tommy Troy, who homered his last time, is on deck. The payoff pitch. And we'll do it again. That ball just past the base runner Park down the third base line.
Carter in there battling, not giving in. Keeps winning another pitch.
He's just good at bat after good at bat. He really, even in the at bats in which he's been retired, he's had good ABs. This ball right back through the middle and a base hit. And Stanford adds another run. It's 7-2.
Good at bat after good at bat. Spoiled some tough pitches. Keeps battling and gets a hanger there and puts it right back up the middle for a base hit. 2-out RBI, which are killer for momentum, especially after the challenge. He knew it as soon as he hit it. Great at bat.
Park stole second, got to third on the air. It's the second inning. Not the second inning. The second time in a row for Park that he's reached first base, gotten to second with his legs, gotten to third with his legs, and then scored a run. Happened with a wild pitch a couple innings ago. Graham was off and running on that pitch, and Tommy Troy singles. Graham stops at second, and after retiring the first 2. 3 straight have reached now for Stanford here against Sullivan in the 6th.
Right fielder, number 6,
And now here's Braden Montgomery.
Tommy Troy, your man again. Keeps going up.
Batting average continues to climb. 3-hit day for him. Now, what does Montgomery do well?
Just about everything this guy can hit. Both sides of the plate. Light tower power. Those 98 from the mound. Can run. He's got the full package.
He's 0 for 4 last night with 3 flyouts and a walk. And he's 0 for 3 so far tonight. Feels like it's just a matter of time, though.
Good swing.
That was a cut.
You see the bat speed right there. You make a mistake and he can make you pay.
Got the smile. Pats his heart. Takes a moment. Just trying to focus in here. 1-2. He had a frustrating strikeout looking his last time. Struck out his last 2 plate appearances. Here's the 1-2. Big swing and a miss. 3rd time he struck out tonight. So while it's not going well for Montgomery at the plate, it is going well for Stanford otherwise. They had a run, and it's 7-2. bottom of the 6th here at Cal. And back to work after a bit of a break there for Matt Scott. His offense got one back for him. The Stanford freshman making his 5th start of the season tonight. It started his career out of the bullpen. And, we talked about some of the command issues, uncharacteristic he had in his last outing when he walked 5 against Oklahoma. He seems to have figured that out tonight.
Yeah, the command has been on point. Very efficient, working ahead, and is able to put guys away with his changeup and the slider. His fastball's had good life up in the zone all day.
Four, 5, 6, part of the Cal order. Peyton Schultz, Cade Kretschmar, and Max Handren. For Matt Scott, who begins the 6th inning with 82 pitches. Schultz 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. On the ground over to short. Cobb bobbles, drops, and can't make a play. 3rd error of the night for Stanford.
The last hop just kind of ate him up. Was expecting it to stay down and kind of kicked up on him.
Right fielder, number 33, Cade Kretschmar.
Get a good look. You see the ball's low, and then all of a sudden that last hop just kind of kicks up right to his belt line.
Now here's Cade Kretschmar. Cal has not made Stanford pay for the errors today. Kretschmar hit a laser beam home run his last time up. The left side of the infield has committed all 3 of Stanford's errors, by the way. The 1-0 to Kretschmar up and away. At one point in this game, Matt Scott had retired 11 straight batters. That was before Kretschmar hit the solo homer back in the 4th. Kretschmar took another big cut, fell that into the mid of the catcher Moore, and it's 2-1.
Challenged him to get with the fastball and able to win that one.
It was an inside fastball that Kretschmar hit the home run on. Matt Scott, freshman, 6'7". Here's the 2-1 pitch. On the ground over to second base. Bowser will go to short for 1 and on to first. Not in time. Cobb couldn't turn it. It was going to be a difficult turn. Kretschmar beat it out as Schultz is put out 4-6. And Kretschmar reaches on the fielder's choice.
Yeah, Cobb made a great play on that. That throw from Bowser kind of short hopped him, and Cobb able to use his hands and pick that cleanly. Saves another error for Stanford.
Now here's Max Handren with a man on and 1 down. 90th pitch upcoming from Matt Scott. And it's a ball. Stanford winners of 9 of their last 11 games coming into this. The 1-0 off the plate. They'll play a couple of home games out of league on Monday, Tuesday against Texas Tech. For Cal, this is in the midst of an 8-game homestand, which will conclude Monday night here against Nevada. And then they'll play Tuesday, a road game, but a short trip at St. Mary's in nearby Moraga before they travel off to Utah. Three and 0 to Handren. And that is ball 4. Cal does not make it easy on you.
The shortstop, number 6.
Just keep stacking good at bats up. Saw it last night. Just want to give yourself a chance Bring that tying or winning run to the plate.
"93 pitches for Scott." You can see the work. That 24 pitch, fourth inning. And as you look at the Stanford bullpen, you'll see it's starting to get a little action. It's Drew Dowd, who pitched in the game last night. Gave up the 2-run homer to Loma Vida. Oh, 2 on and 1 out for Scott. And that'll be Carson Crawford. By the way, UCLA prevailed in 12 innings over Utah. They scored in the bottom of the 12th. They won that game 1-0. The pitch to Crawford is a ball, and it's 1-0. 2 homers for Cal tonight. Crawford hit one last night in the 7th inning. Was on base 3 times in that game. He's reached on an error tonight and struck out.
Seems to be tiring a bit here in the 6th inning. Command hasn't been as sharp. A few 3-ball counts and 2 big misses.
Here's the 2-0, and that's in there for strike 1. Big spot in this game for Crawford. And he's ahead in the count, 3-1 now.
That was a good pitch. Reared back and made a good pitch when he needed it. Didn't get the call.
Kretschmar at second, Handren at first. And that breaking ball's in there for a strike. 3-2. Two on and 1 out. Here comes the payoff. You can see the breath from Matt Scott. 50 degrees the temperature right now at Berkeley, as he prepares to throw pitch number 100. Another 3-2 to Crawford. And that's called strike 3.
Stepping up big. Makes a good 2-1 pitch, doesn't get the call, then comes back and fires off 2 nasty sliders. Paints that one down and away. Made his best pitch of the night to end the game for him. Heck of a job by Matt Scott.
7 strikeouts, 100 pitches, 5 2/3. And Thomas Eager back out. And here comes Drew Dowd out of the bullpen. Things got a little rocky last night when Stanford went to the pen. We'll see if Dowd can shut down the Cal threat here in the 6th. Matt Scott's night is done. He'll hand the ball to Dowd, who will pitch for the 2nd night in a row as Scott exits with a 5-run lead. See if Dowd can keep it that way next.
No timeouts, no huddles, just nonstop game action cut down into one fast and furious hour. Football in 60 is the ideal football fix for the busy Pac-12 fan.
What kind of speed do you have?
Catch Football in 60 anytime on demand. Only on Pac-12 Network, where champions play.
May 23rd through the 27th, we're taking the field for the second annual Pac-12 baseball tournament. Live from Scottsdale Stadium in Scottsdale, Arizona, the top teams in the conference, bringing the heat, flashing the leather, and swinging the lumber.
Gone!
Until only one is left to hoist the trophy. The 2023 Pac-12 baseball tournament, May 23rd through 27th, live from Scottsdale, Arizona. Get your tickets today at pac-12.com/tickets.
On to the bottom of the sixth we go. And Drew Dowd has come, or not onto the bottom of the sixth, we're in the bottom of the sixth. Drew Dowd has come into the game as we remain in the sixth. And he's going to try and get us to the seventh. Nico Bunton due up for Cal. 2 on and 2 out. Dowd last night came into the game. At the time, it felt at least like a comfortable 8-2 lead, but he gave up a single, a home run to Caleb Lomavita. After he did that, he struck out the side. And we'll see what he's got here for Cal tonight.
He's got no problem missing bats. A lot of strikeouts. Effective against left-handers and right-handers. Command has been a little bit of an issue this year coming out of the bullpen.
Well, you said it earlier. This is the part of the game that Stanford's got to tighten up.
We'll see right here. They get another chance to prove themselves tonight. Another great start by their starter. We'll see if the bullpen can hold it.
If you're Dowd after last night giving up the 2-run homer, you got to be happy to be able to get right back onto the mound in this game. Dowd's pitching a bunch of high leverage spots. Before last night, his last 7 appearances had resulted in a decision. 3 wins, 2 losses, 2 saves. So he's been in a lot of big games for Stanford this year, and he's in a big spot here. Cade Kretschmar is the runner at second. Max Hansrin the runner at first. There are 2 outs. And Button steps up. Remember, Button was at the plate in the 4th with runners at second and third, and he hit a rocket line drive, but he hit it right to the center fielder, Eddie Park. Here's the pitch to Nico Button, and he takes a strike. Button struck out looking back in the second, 0 for 2. An error, a fielder's choice, and a walk. That's been the action on the bases for Cal this inning. That ball is sprayed foul. And it's 0-2. Jack Johnston, the 9th-place hitter, is on deck. He homered his last time out. A couple of solo homers for Cal tonight. That's been the Bears' scoring. Dowd with a long look and wait, and now the 0-2, and that swung on and missed. A throw over to first base, and Graham will get over to tag the bag after Moore completes the 2-3 put out, and Dowd shuts the door here in the 6th. Cal strands 2 more, and we head to the 7th. To the 7th inning we go. Here in Berkeley, 7-2, 9th-ranked Stanford leading Cal. Great rivalry. Both teams have had some great moments over the years, of course, against one another, just as programs in general. Last night was another great game between these two, an 8-7 Stanford win. Stanford's gotten good starting pitching both of these first 2 games of the series. And they've got some big hits, too. Scored a lot of runs. 8 runs last night, 7 so far tonight for the Pac-12's #1 offense. Here's Malcolm Moore. Big cut and a miss for him. More Drew Bowser, Alberto Rios. The 0-1 to Moore, swing and a miss. The only Stanford hitter that hasn't reached in this game is Braden Montgomery.
Sullivan keeps featuring that changeup, giving these left-handed hitters some problems for Stanford.
Sullivan beginning his third inning of work. That's a ball. It's 1-2. On in relief in the fifth of Christian Becerra, who gave up 6 runs in his 4 innings. Here comes the 1-2. Moore's trying to just go the other way against the shift, isn't he?
I think he's looking changeup. Good job being able to get a piece of that fastball.
The 1-2. Popped up, long run out to left. Third baseman Soto, left fielder Johnston, and Soto tracks it down. He had a long way to go because he was the only defender on the left side of the infield.
Moore's figured it out. I'm going to hit the ball to the opposite field. There's nobody playing over there. Almost stuck another one down the line. Good awareness by Dom Soto. No, he's the only defender on that side of the field. I got to catch this ball.
So now here's Drew Bowser. Lined out his last time at a 2-run homer back in the third. Not that you don't see a lot of cheap home runs. I don't know if you see many at this ballpark. The wind, and maybe sometimes can help, but none of the home runs tonight would even be confused for cheap. And Bowser's might lead the list. I don't know if you were to rank the exit velocities of home runs we've seen tonight. We don't have the numbers, but if you had to guess, the home run that Johnston hit in the fifth was, I think, your early vote for highest exit velo, just because it never looked like it got more than 40 feet off the ground.
Another good changeup by Sullivan. But Bowser's known to hit the ball extremely hard. And that home run was impressive, but Sullivan wins the battle there. Goes to his bread and butter, that changeup. Bowser swings over it.
3 strikeouts now for Sullivan out of the Cal pen. Well, when Sullivan came on in the fifth, he got Stanford 1-2-3. It was the first time that Cal pitching had done that tonight. And he's trying to do it again. Here's Rios, who struck out in a long at bat his last time up. Singled and scored back in the second. It's funny, Cal's starting pitching the first 2 games has not been great. Its bullpen with the deficit has pitched pretty well. Weak contact, long run, and it's through the legs of Handren, who had a long way to go to come and get that ball because he was playing up the middle, and it went right through his legs.
Got kind of stuck in between, didn't know whether to charge it or wait for it. And you got to make a decision one way or the other. His feet weren't settled and that ball kind of skipped on him and charges himself with an error.
I don't think any gold gloves are getting handed out tonight. 5 errors between the 2 teams. Cole Hinkleman, the DH, takes low. Three errors for Stanford, 2 errors for Cal. Two 2-0. That's too low. 3-0. Momavita, the catcher. 3-0 on the way, and he frames that in there for strike one. Rios over at first, bluffs the run, and Hinkleman swings and misses. And now the count's full from 3-0 to 3-2.
Change up again. See, he holds that change up from the start.
There goes the runner, 3-2, ball four. So Rios is at second, Hinkleman at first. In the air, it's costing Sullivan pitches. And now here's Owen Cobb, who lined out to center just last inning. Fourth time that he's been to the plate. Fourth time through the order for Stanford. No action down in the Cal bullpen. As Lomavita takes a stroll out to the mound. Lomavita, predominantly the DH last year. This is his first year as the everyday catcher to go with the load that he carries in the batting order. Should have been a 1-2-3 inning for Sullivan, but now he's got to get out of a little more trouble. Here's the 1-0 to Cobb, and he held up in the count 2-0. Nearing 60 pitches for Sullivan out of the Cal bullpen tonight.
Just can't find it now.
Where to go?
He was out of the inning, 50 pitches. I don't know what his season high is, but you can just tell he's kind of lost the feel for all three pitches.
There's a strike. One more game in the series tomorrow, but two more games between these two teams. Stanford will host a non-conference game later in the year. And misses ball four, back-to-back walks after the error, and the bases are full for Stanford here in the seventh. And now the top of the order. For the fifth time, it's Eddie Park. First pitch pops it up. Shortstop Crawford circling, and he makes the catch. And so after the error, a couple of walks, but Sullivan able to get Park to end the threat and leave the bases loaded. We go to the bottom of the seventh here in Berkeley. Bottom of the seventh here at Evans Diamond, and Stanford still leading Cal 7-2. You see Matt Scott, the Stanford starter, and he was really good tonight.
Excellent. Good command. Good life on the fastball. Sharp slider. Could throw for a strike. A lot of swings and misses. Good changeup as well.
Graduate Hotel's great moment is his fifth career start. Ended with a 1.86 earned run average. And it was all said and done with 5 2/3. Struck out 7. Allowed 3 walks. and the 2 earned. So Drew Dowd back to work against Jack Johnston here in the home half of the 7th. Johnston, Green, and Soto, 9-1-2. Dowd came on in relief of Scott and struck out the only batter that he faced. He had a couple runners on, and he got Nico Button. Now it gets Johnston to swing and miss, and it's 0-2. Johnston hit a rocket, laser. We need another fast-moving object. Not a UFO. What do they call them now?
I haven't heard. We got a new name for UFOs.
Yeah, we got a new name for UFOs. He hit it. But there's a quick 1-2-3 strikeout. And Johnston gone quickly. Second strikeout for Dowd.
For the Bears, their center fielder, number 24, Rodney Green Jr.
And now here's the top of the order for Rodney Green Jr.
It's not a Chinese spy tent. Spy blimp.
No, that does not. That would not describe any of the home runs we've seen tonight as blimpish. UAP, unidentified aerial phenomena.
Wow.
That ball fouled back by Green.
Unidentified aerial phenomena. I had not heard of that new term. Thanks for the update.
Now you're caught up. Here's the 1-1 to Green. On the ground, but right to the first baseman, Graham, who was playing him along the line, and that's out number 2. Second time Green's been retired tonight. Now here's Dom Soto. Soto 0 for 3, reached on an error back in the first. Diving play by Cobb, and a nice dig at first by Graham. Maybe we will hand out a gold glove tonight.
What a play. Dive to his left, short hop pick by Carter Graham. 7-2 Cardinal.
Nice night in the Bay, cool. Not as cold as it was last night. Temperature just been hanging at 50 degrees. Supposed to hit 70. The early forecast this week was that we'd see 70 degrees tomorrow, but
not now.
Yeah, it's been pushed back to Sunday.
I'm not gonna be mad. It's Easter Sunday.
That's right. It should be. We'll take it. There's Carter Graham, 2, 3, 4 part of the order. I know we'll take it in the Bay Area. I know you'll take it in Scottsdale.
Yes, we will.
Pitch to Graham, and that's a ball. Connor Sullivan beginning his 4th inning of work. You think we'll get the weather figured out in Scottsdale by the Pac-12 baseball tournament? Can we count on warm weather by then?
I think that's a given.
All right.
It should be warm in May.
Excellent. It was funny, you were talking to Mike New before the game today about the tournament, and he was saying, we got to get there. But, you were around a lot of the teams, or all the teams who were there last year, on the run. Tough throw dug out by Schultz from the shortstop Crawford. But inaugural baseball tournament, what did you think the guys enjoyed about it, talking to them, being around them last year?
I think all being in the same field at the same time was pretty cool. And then, teams getting to see the ending of games before they go on the field. And some epic late-night battles. Cal, I think they showed up to In-N-Out or Whataburger. It was Whataburger. 1 a.m., playing the next day. So just a lot of good memories you can make as a team. And then, a chance to punch your ticket into the postseason for teams that aren't guaranteed.
Tough play, and making it is Max Handren to get the hustling Tommy Troy. So defense tightening up here in the later innings. Yeah, be careful. You're wading into a big argument. You start confusing Whataburger and In-N-Out.
I know, my bad.
Those two should play for the championship.
Who you got?
In-N-Out. But this is California, you know. Montgomery looking for his first hit of the day as he fouls that out of play. 0 for 4, 3 strikeouts for Braden Montgomery. And these guys all grow up playing in tournaments, right? Albeit not quite maybe with the same level of familiarity with the opponents. Travel ball is one thing, but when it's your own league, teams you've played, guys you've played against. That ball is fair past the dive of Schultz. Montgomery is flying into second base, and he's going to pull up there with a double. His first hit of the day, and now every Stanford Cardinal is reached.
Gave him the old reverse jinx, and Montgomery gets a double. 2 outs. Hits that ball hard right down the line. Schultz gave a good effort just out of his reach. Gets a glove on it. But Montgomery easily into second base. But it was fun watching, teams play desperate baseball. Arizona State had no chance of getting into the postseason unless they won that Pac-12 tournament. And they had a really good tournament into the semifinal.
Malcolm Moore drops that in front of Johnston. With 2 outs, Montgomery was on the move, and he scores. It's 8-2 Stanford.
Malcolm Moore continuing to work the opposite field. When there's not that many defenders out there, you don't have to hit it that hard.
Well, this will really be a study. It'll be fun to talk before the game tomorrow, maybe to both teams. The exit velos on all his hits are low, but they're hits.
Oh.
That, on the other hand, is more than that. Absolutely crushed and gone. Drew Bowser's second moonshot of the night.
Well, Malcolm Moore's exit velos aren't going to catch up to that, but Bowser with his second absolute rocket UAP out to left center field. 10-2 Stanford.
Wow. I mean, this thing, where does it land?
Just a hanging slider. Bowser, again, identical swing to the first homer. Foot down, short, powerful. Beautiful swing.
Get a 2-run shot in the third inning off of Becerra, and now a 2-run homer in the 8th. For Stanford, it's now back-to-back games with 3 home runs. 46 now on the season. Rios had one last night. Behind the count 1-0. Pardon me, 1-1. Now he fouls that away. It's 1-2. Ten runs for Stanford tonight. Average 9 per game coming into play. Meanwhile, ASU is leading Washington State 3-2 in the bottom of the 8th of their game. Arizona State and Stanford entered tied for first. USC a game behind them in the loss column with 3, but they can't make up any ground. They're playing a non-conference series this weekend against San Diego State. They won again tonight, beating the Aztecs 7-2. Three-two here to Rios. Hard hit and into left field, another base hit. 4 straight hits for Stanford, all of them with 2 outs. And Rios is on base for the 3rd time today.
Just such a deep lineup by Stanford. You think you're out of it, and they can strike with 2 outs. All the way up and down, 1 through 9. Continue to stack up good at bat after good at bat.
It all started with that Braden Montgomery double down the first base line. They strike fast. Cole Hinkleman knocked in a run with a single back in the second inning. Down to the count 0-2. 2 runs in the second, 2 in the third, 2 in the fourth, 1 in the sixth, and 3 here in the eighth. Connor Sullivan had a 1-2-3 fifth inning when he came in relief, but everything else has been a little messy. There goes the runner, huge jump, and Rios takes second base with ease. Pitch was taken for a ball, and it's 2-2. So now Rios in scoring position. The pitch, and Hinkleman fouls it away. You got to play the carom here at Evans Diamond. Play it off a Haas Pavilion. The 2-2. Schultz has it over at first, and he steps on the bag to retire Hinkleman and leave a runner. But Stanford adds 3 more, including 2 on Drew Bowser's second home run of the night. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Stanford leads Cal by 8. 16 hits for Stanford tonight. 10 runs. 3 homers, 2 of them from Drew Bowser. As we go to the bottom of the 8th inning.
Story of the game and the story of their season. We've talked about their offense all night, and they've been as advertised again here tonight. 16 hits, 10 runs, 3 more home runs.
I just don't know how you get through their lineup. Here's Caleb Loma-Vida swinging at the first pitch and sending it out to right. Braden Montgomery backing up. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th for Drew Dowd.
The first baseman, number 28, Peyton Schultz.
Now here's Peyton Schultz, the first baseman. 0 for 3, struck out twice and reached on an error. First pitch swinging, and having to wait back on that is Rios. And so Schultz is on base here in front of Cade Kretschmar.
The right fielder, number 33, Gabe Kretschmar.
Kretschmar homered back in the 4th inning off of the Stanford starter Matt Scott. Lines this to first, and that's a double play. Caught by Graham. Nothing the runner Schultz could do about it. And Graham steps on first. For a quick inning. On the 9th inning we go here in the Bay Area. That is Lake Merritt in nearby Oakland. Here in Berkeley. It's been Stanford's night. There are plenty of foul balls to chase tonight, though. And plenty warm as long as you keep moving. Keep dancing.
Gotta dance.
Jack Keurer, the new pitcher for Cal, making his first appearance of this series. 3rd pitcher of the night for the Bears. Keurer, the freshman from Irvine, went to Mater Dei High School.
Mater Dei, my old rival. Servite Fryer. I don't like to see anybody from Mater Dei, but Kier's good young arm. Really had an outstanding high school career. Fills up his own, a lot of strikes. He's got a bright future ahead of him here at Cal.
There's some good young arms on this team. A lot, Cal's young in so many spots. And Kier's a guy that Mike New said early in the year they wanted to, he'd have some opportunities this year. He pitched Monday at home against Pacific. After losing 2 of 3 to ASU over the weekend, Cal played Pacific on Monday and beat them 5-4 here. It was just his 3rd appearance of the year. This is only his 2nd Pac-12 appearance. 4th appearance overall. Has appeared in 3 other games. Villanova, at Arizona, and then against Pacific on Monday, when he went 2 innings and allowed 1 earned run. Did not walk a batter, struck out 2. 9-1-2, part of the Stanford order. And Owen Cobb takes a ball, and it's 1-0. First pitch of the night for Jack Kier. How about, let's not gloss over what happened in the bottom of the 8th inning. Something that's very rare. The pitch to Cobb is off the plate. Drew Dowd had a 3-pitch inning. You can't do it in less than 3 pitches. But he gave up a hit.
Tied a record.
He tied the record. Set by Greg Maddox or Andy Johnson. Bob Gibson. Garrett Cole. I don't know. Maybe all those. There's no guarantee that all those guys had 3-pitch innings, although I think it's probably a good bet. There's a 4-pitch walk. So more pitches in this walk than we had in the bottom of the last inning. How about that? A 3-pitch inning?
I mean, you know it when it's 2 outs, 2 pitches. But that single by Schultz kind of threw off Kretschmar, and he swung. And, I mean, no fault of his. He hit it as hard as he could.
Here's Eddie Park, leadoff man, batting for the 6th time tonight. By the way, 3rd time that Cobb's been on base in this game from the 9 spot. It's up and in. ASU just added a few runs in the bottom of the 8th inning. They now lead Washington State 5-2. So if both that score and this score hold, Stanford and Arizona State will remain tied for first place in the pack. 2nd year for Willie Bloomquist at Arizona State. What a turnaround for the Sun Devils. And 13 and 17 in league play last year.
And you could see it last year in the Pac-12 tournament, the way they competed, the way they fought. They were right there, and a couple of pitches away from advance to the final. Willie's doing a great job getting that program back to where it's supposed to be. Arizona State should be one of the best programs year in, year out.
Ground ball up the middle, gobbled up by Handren. He flips to Crawford for 1. That's the only one they'll get. Park runs well. They get Cobb on the force out. 4-6, and Park reaches on the fielder's choice. With the win by Arizona State here against Cal on Sunday, ASU matched last year's road win total with 6 road wins this season. Carter Graham takes a ball. ASU mentioned they're going to host Stanford the beginning of May. They'll finish with Stanford at USC and then UCLA at home before the Pac-12 tournament. I know Carter Graham plays first base, so just, a lot happens, but he just seems to be in the middle of everything, doesn't he?
Big part of this team the last couple seasons. Doesn't get the accolades and the love that some of his teammates get, but he's a big reason. You see again there, just stacks up good at bats, hits the ball to all fields, drives and runs, good defender.
Emotional last night after, he committed an error that put Rodney Green on. And in a one-run game last night, Cal would eventually load the bases, down 8-7. They turn the double play to end it. The ball finishes in the mitt of the first baseman, Graham, and he takes the ball and he just spikes it into the ground, celebrating the victory. As Tommy Troy takes the ball 1-0. Tommy Troy entered play tonight hitting .417. Now up to .420. Big cut and a miss. This is about the time we got some rain last night. But after it rained pretty well through the morning here in the Bay Area, sun came out in the early afternoon and the whole infield been covered. The rest of it dried up. And no rain the rest of the weekend in the forecast. Two-1 to Troy. And now 3-1. And there's ball 4. So Troy is on base for the 4th time tonight. Up to third base goes Eddie Park. Carter Graham up to second. Bases are loaded here with one out for Braden Montgomery, who finally broke out his last time up with a double that started some scoring for Stanford in the 8th. Oh, that's not close.
It's a really tough spot for Kier facing this lethal Stanford lineup that is swinging the bat so well. He's got to come in here and try and get the middle part of the order out.
Two 2-0. We might see a big swing here from Montgomery if this is in the strike zone. Here it comes. And that was nowhere close. It hit him. And that's going to be another run for Stanford. Park comes home to score and makes it 11-2. Card. Up to second base goes Troy, and Graham up to third. And now here's Malcolm Moore. And action now in the Cal bullpen. As Mike New is out to talk to his freshman. Just mentioned it. We showed you the numbers. Just his 4th appearance of the year. As you see Ben Lake beginning to throw.
Yeah, I think he wants to go out there and tell him, settle down, but you got to throw the ball over the plate. You got to see what you got. Can't walk guys and miss. I know they're good hitters, but you got those strikes and take your chances.
There's only so many times as a freshman you get to pitch against a lineup like Stanford's. Kier would like to make the most of what's left of this opportunity. Bases are full, though. He's thrown 20 pitches in the inning already. This will be the 6th batter that he's faced.
We'll see if the pep talk worked. Sometimes you need that little. Coach Lou's probably telling him, I trust you. I want you to throw the ball to the plate. Let's see what you got.
It's a ball to Malcolm Moore. One thing you don't, as a young pitcher right now with the pitch clock, you don't get a lot of time to, you can't really just wander, not wander, but walk around behind the mound, take a deep breath, take as much time as you want to settle in. Try and slow the heart rate. 1-0 pitch. And Moore fouls it back. Malcolm Moore 3 hits today. Stanford's freshman catcher. Cal shifted 3 defenders to the right of second base. And this ball is roped into the gap in right center, and that's going to score at least one. And another. And finally, he pulls the ball tonight, Malcolm Moore.
Yes,
After
he
going
did.
the other way all night, he said, enough of this. Let's rip one. And it's now 13-2.
Does pull that one. Got a changeup up in the zone. Take a look, and you see the open stance, open to close. Gets that changeup up and rips it in the right center for a 2 RBI double.
Graham and Tommy Troy scored. Braden Montgomery up to third. And now Mike News coming back out. And Cal is going to the bullpen here in the top of the 9th inning. It's a tough outing for Jack Keurer. Walked the first man he saw. Got a force out at second base, but that was the only out he was able to get. So now Ben Lake coming in. He'll try and clean this up here as we stay in the top of the 9th inning. Still in the top of the 9th inning. Runners at second and third. After Jack Keurer is out and Ben Lake is in. The right-hander out of the Cal bullpen, the senior.
See Ben with a little low 3/4 delivery. Good deception against right-handed hitters. Hasn't pitched too much in his career, but Coach News going to him.
This is his first appearance of the year. Appeared in one game last year. Against Cal Poly on March 22nd of 2022. That was the last time he's pitched. He has faced Stanford before back in 2021. He pitched a third of an inning on the road in that game. And back as a freshman back in 2020, he appeared once at Santa Barbara.
Pinch hitting for Bowser, number 14, Court McDonald.
And he's going to face a pinch hitter here. Drew Bowser hit 2 home runs. But he's going to get pinch hit for by Court McDonald. First appearance of the series for Court McDonald. He takes inside a ball. Bowser, a home run in the 8th and a home run in the 3rd. And that's in there for a strike. Braden Montgomery at 3rd. Malcolm Moore's at 2nd. Court McDonald, the freshman from Arlington, Texas. That's blocked by the catcher Loma Vida. This is the Pac-12 debut for McDonald, who appeared in the game against Oklahoma on Friday. Looking for his first career collegiate hit. He's got 1 at bat. So far. Here's the 2-2. And that's in the dirt, and the count is full. Court McDonald, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sport athlete in high school.
Wow.
Baseball, football, basketball, track, golf.
That is impressive. I don't know how you have time to play 5.
3-2 pitch. On the ground, Schultz can't snag it. Picks it up, but too late. Everybody's safe, and another run is across. Montgomery scores, and it's 14-2.
Number 11, Alberto.
And that is, he's looking at the scoreboard. That's not a hit. It's an error. Third error of the night for Cal.
It's a routine play, and sometimes your concentration can get away from these type of games, and I think Schultz just wasn't as locked in as it needed to be.
Now here's Alberto Rios. Up to third base on the play went Moore. Two walks, a hit batter, and an error in this inning. That one spins it for a strike. It's one thing to be a five-star athlete like McDonald, or excuse me, a five-sport athlete like McDonald was at first, but he was all-state in 3 of them. Football, basketball, and baseball. And with due respect to all the states, when you're all-state in Texas, it's just worth a little more than some of the others.
Yeah, you're all-state football in Texas. You can play.
That's strike 2. 1-2. He was part of the 4x400 state championship track team, too. That pitch is low and the count is full.
How's the golf game? Yeah.
I'm going to guess scratch. I'm going to guess he's pretty good at golf, too. That hit him. Second hit batter of the inning. And so Rios is aboard. The bases are full. Up to second base goes Court McDonald. Cole Hinkleman wraps this into left field, and that's down for a base hit. Moore is going to score. McDonald will stop at third, and it's now 15-2. Second RBI hit tonight for Hinkleman.
Hinkleman showing off his sweet left-handed swing again. Rocket to left field. Not giving away any at-bats, and he's making the most of his first start of the season.
Pinch hitter now for Stanford in place of Owen Cobb is Trevor Haskins. Pitch to Haskins is off the plate. Haskins, a sophomore from Valley Christian High School in San Jose. 1 for 20 on the season. His one hit came back of the Oregon State series. Does have a career home run. It came last year. Stanford has batted around in this inning. It was Cobb that led it off with a walk. And now Haskins batting in his place. Long night behind the plate for Loma Vida today. McDonald at third, Rios at second, Hinkleman at first. And that's a strike. 8 straight batters have reached since the only out was recorded of this inning. Oregon finish off the win over Oregon State 2-0 today. And ASU and Washington State have gone final as well. Arizona State won that game 6-2. The pitch to Haskins fouled off. Arizona put up 12 runs in a 12-4 win over Washington. And we mentioned earlier the 12-inning game. UCLA beat Utah 1-0 tonight. The 3-2 pitch. And that is ball 4. And that's run number 16 tonight for Stanford as McDonald comes home to score. Up to third base goes Rios. Hinkleman up to second. And now Ben Lake.
It's to face Park and Graham. They're
Yeah.
still in the game. Still only one out.
And there's a strike. This is the 7th time the Lake has been up tonight. He scored 3 runs. A pitch from Lake. Line past the dive of the third baseman Soto and towards the corner. Rios is going to score. Hinkleman stops at third. Bases stay full, and it's now 16-2. Eddie Park's on base for the 4th time in this game.
Always tough to stay mentally locked in when the game gets out of hand, but you don't want to give away at bats. And Eddie Park does what he does. Rips the line drive to the opposite field for a base hit.
Mike News coming back out. Man, he is going back to the bullpen. He's trying to end this 9th inning. 7 runs across in the inning. And the base is still full with just 1 out. We'll step aside here in the 9th. 17-2, Stanford leading and still hitting. Still in the 9th inning. Cal going to its 3rd pitcher of the night. Stanford, the 3rd pitcher of the inning. Stanford's batted around and scored 7 runs in this inning. Stanford scored 10 runs in the last 2 innings. And there's only been 1 out recorded in this inning. The bases are still loaded. Vaughn Moderer is the latest Cal pitcher to try and just shake out of this. Mike News spent a lot of time on the mound. Moderer, the senior from Marin Catholic in San Rafael, here in the Bay Area. He's appeared in 1 game this year, which he appeared at Arizona, did not record an out, allowed 3 earned runs. Now Carter Graham will step up for the 2nd time in the inning, and he lines that into left field. Hinkleman's going to score and make it 18-2.
No let up. Carter Graham's not going to give that RBI away. Jumps in the first pitch and another RBI, another base hit.
4th time he's been on base. And another pinch hitter. Jimmy Nadai is the batter for Stanford. Tommy Troy, who hit homered back in the 4th inning, getting pinch hit for here. And Nadai swings and lines it right to center. Green is there to make the catch. No tag from third. And that is out number 2. But it was hit well. Nadi's like, wait a second.
Yeah, disappointing for him. I mean, sack fly, you want that sack fly. He did his job. I know the score's out of hand, but he deserved that RBI after that hard hit.
Pinch hitting for Braden Montgomery, Saborn Campbell. Campbell, a sophomore from Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. Went to Detroit Country Day High School, the famed Detroit Country Day High School. Swinging a chopper over to first. Whoa, snagged by Schultz. And the ninth inning, or at least the top of it, comes to a merciful end. But 7 runs across for Stanford. And the lead is now 18-2. On to the bottom of the ninth inning after a 8-run ninth inning for Stanford. Jimmy Nadi is going to stay in the game. He's at third. There's Saborn Campbell. He's in right field. Trevor Haskins is the shortstop. And Timo Becerra, who did not hit in that inning, comes in defensively to play second base. 8-run ninth for Stanford. And now here's Cal's bottom of the ninth inning against Drew Dowd.
Dowd's still out there, too.
Dowd is still out there.
Leading off the bottom of the ninth for the Golden Bears, second baseman, number 14.
What do you figure? He's already warmed. You might as well throw him out there again instead
I guess
of warming
they're not
up
worried
a new
about
pitcher.
it. Probably not going to pitch tomorrow anyway, so might as well use him. But he sat down for a good 35, 40 minutes.
Well, remember, his last inning was a 3-pitch inning.
Forgot about that.
I bet you did. "14 batters came to the plate in the top of this inning for Stanford. Here's the pitch to Handren, the 1-0. Was off the plate. By the way, I just mentioned Saborn Campbell, who came into the game in right field for Stanford, went to Detroit Country Day High School, which is a very famous high school because great basketball players have come out of there. A 3-0 pitch to Handren, and that's a strike. Chris Webber and Shane Battier each won the Naismith Prep Player of the Year award. Detroit Country Day is one of just 3 high schools to have multiple Naismith Prep Player of the Year award winners come out of it in the nation ever. Handren walks. It all started with a walk. And now here's Carson Crawford.
Well, you said he was warm, but sitting down for that long.
Yeah, maybe he's not warm.
See if he can find the zone again.
Crawford takes a strike. Robin Williams went to Detroit Country Day. Did not graduate. And Clippers owner Steve Ballmer.
Wow.
And Saborn Campbell, Stanford's right fielder now. Chris Webber won 3 state titles there that, got scrubbed from the record books, but nonetheless, it happened. The pitch. That ball is crushed and way gone. Carson Crawford, a 2-run homer for Cal.
That is a repeat of last night. Crawford taken down deep.
Home run, Carson Crawford. His 5th of the season.
Fastball middle, and Crawford is ready for it. Drops the bat head right to the ball, and he knew it as soon as he hit it.
Well, here's Tucker Bougie pinch hitting for Nico Button. Bougie hit a pinch hit home run last night in the 9th inning. A 3-run homer that cut the Stanford lead from 8-4 to 8-7. It was Bougie's first career home run. There's a big breaking ball in there for a strike. Jack Johnston on deck. 18-4, Stanford leading here in the bottom of the 9th inning. There's another big breaker for strike 2.
He's got a big 12-6 curveball. Really tough on left-handed hitters. Ball starts almost behind them and breaks back in the zone.
A 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Moore will step out from behind home to throw on to Graham to complete the putout. 2-3. And that's out number 1.
Left fielder, number 10.
And now here's Jack Johnston, homered back in the 5th. Now we're going to have a meeting on the mound. Thomas Seager back out. And that's all for Drew Dowd. Stanford, well, let's see. Long conversation happened. That's
a little animated out there on the mound.
Yeah.
Something they're not agreeing about. Or you see Haskins laughing, so everything might be okay, but.
Well, they're not going to the bullpen. Nick Dugan came running to that gate. A freshman reliever. But Dowd's going to stay in the game.
Here we go. Talked his way into it.
So now Jack Johnston, who homered off of the starter Matt Scott back in the 5th. Base is empty, 1 out. And that's strike 1. Oh, it's funny, we're talking to Mike New, Cal's coach. He said that he thought last night Dowd kind of locked in after he gave up the home run. And there's a strike. There's Mike New. Try and salvage the series tomorrow with Paul-Sean Pasqualetto, the Cal starter, scheduled for Saturday, Game 3 of this series. 1-1. On the ground over to third. Picked up by Nati, the new third baseman, and he makes a strong throw to first. 2 down.
Nice play by Nati. Moved his feet nicely to his left.
The center fielder.
Hard hit ball, and strong, accurate throw.
Junior.
Now here's Rodney Green Jr. Walk singled in this game, 1 for 3. This is a matchup you could see happening again in the Pac-12 tournament. Right, bring in the lefty at some point. Dowd to face Green. Hmm. 2-0. Two-run home run in the inning for Crawford. And this ball is hooked down the line and foul. We've been waiting for Rodney Green to turn on one in this series.
There it was. Just a little bit out in front of that 2-0 fastball. Unable to keep it fair.
3 homers in this game for Cal tonight. That missed, and it's 3-1. Reaches here with 2 outs in the 9th. And that'll be Dom Soto.
Number 9, Dom Soto.
Well, the question has to be asked, just because every time Rodney Green, the question should be asked, is he going to run?
I don't think so. They are holding him on for some reason.
He's got the green light. Mike New said he never gives him the steal sign. He just goes when he wants to go.
I think he's not going, and Carter Graham should probably be playing behind him.
A rare occurrence early in the game when Rodney Green was thrown out for just the 2nd time this year. It was only the 4th time a Cal base runner has been thrown out trying to steal this year. The Pac-12's team lead in steals. Rodney Green now 18 for 20 on the season. He stole a bag back in the 1st.
That makes sense.
Here's the 0-2, a pie. Joey Dixon scheduled to go for Stanford tomorrow. Coming off a good start against Oklahoma on Sunday. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Lined into left, and that's going to fall in front of Rios. A base hit. Green moves up to second. And Soto with his first hit of the night. And that'll be Caleb Lomavita.
Number 15, Caleb Lomavita.
Lomavita has not reached today. Stanford's done a good job against him. 0 for 4 with 4 pop-outs. Lomavita homered off of Dowd last night. There's a strike. That home run came in the 8th inning. Made the game 8-4 at the time. Stanford leading. Stanford would go on to win game 1 8-7. Chopper towards the middle, and that is past Haskins. Green's going to come around, and he's going to score. And it's the 5th run of the game for Cal. Soto stopped at second. Cal's going to bring the 8th batter of the inning up.
No quitting the Cal Bears.
Nope.
Saw it last night and still stacking up good at bats.
And now we're going to have a runner at first base. Darrell Dilworth Jr. is going to come on. For Caleb Lomavita. And here's Peyton Schultz.
Your attention, please. Pitch running at first base. Number 2, Darrell Dilworth Jr.
Dowd throws home. And Schultz swings and misses. One for 4 tonight for Schultz. And this is lifted in the air to right. Back going Campbell, and that is gone. A 3-run home run for Peyton Schultz.
That's a Golden Bear.
No quit in the Golden Bears, and Peyton Schultz down 2 strikes. Gets a fastball up out over the plate and easily deposits that into right field for a 3-run homer.
It's a 14-run inning between the two teams. 8 runs in the top of the inning for Stanford, a 6-run bottom of the 9th for Cal.
Dow just throws that fastball right down the middle, inside out from Peyton Schultz, showing his opposite field power.
Well, what happens to Cal's offense in the late innings of the game? It awakens. It's now 18-8 Stanford. Well, new pitcher for Stanford here in the 9th inning is Nick Dugan, the freshman from Eureka, California. Appeared against Oklahoma last weekend and pitched 3 2/3 innings on in relief of Drew Dowd. Dowd goes 3 innings, allows 6 earned runs and 2 homers. Cal has hit 4 home runs. Stanford scored 8 runs in the top of the 9th inning, but Cal has decided not to pack it in. They've scored 6 runs here in the bottom of the 9th, and here's Cade Kretschmar, who's the 9th batter for Cal in this inning. Bases are empty after the Peyton Schultz 3-run home run. And Dugan delivers a strike. High pop, right side. It's the first baseman Graham, or pardon me, it's the second baseman Becerra who makes the catch. And this ball game is over. Stanford wins it and has won now the first 2 games of the series. The final tonight, 18-8.
Yeah, a lot of loud noises, a lot of home runs. Both teams swung the bat pretty decently. Defense was shaky, but Stanford does what they do. Hit homers, score a lot of runs, and they hold off for the 18-8 win.
The best offense in the pack was exactly that tonight. 18 runs, 22 hits. Cal with a 6-run 9th. And lose the game by 10 when it's all said and done. We'll see if Cal can carry some of that offense into tomorrow's game. Stanford and Cal, the final game of the series, coming up at 6:05 Pacific here on Pac-12 Network.